It's in the middle of the ocean, somewhere between Hawaii and Australia in the South Pacific, is the island nation of Fiji. A location so remote that for years it was a privilege that only the rich and famous could afford. So the tourism industry here was built around that exclusivity, luxury. I got to experience some of that luxury. I stayed a few days at Nanuku Auberge Resort in Pacific Harbor. And one of those days, my film crew and I chartered a boat to the resort's private island. Fiji living!
Reefs are so important to the area that even ages ago, the villages consider them a sanctuary.
But to get a better look of the lushness here, we ventured to the Navua River, which runs through the island of Viti Levu, where we were staying, and likely if you made a visit here, you'd stay here too. It's the largest of Fiji's 333 islands. A slow and easy ride to a short hike. My first steps into the jungle. And then we hunt for a waterfall.
My favorite part of waterfalls, you always can hear them before you see them. What are you waiting for? Let's get in!
I think the quickest way to immerse in a culture is a visit to the local market. It's raw, gritty, real. They say food is the thing that connects us to one another. Ooh, my favorite. Wow. So beautiful. So maybe going to the place where people shop for food intensifies that. It really gives you an opportunity to absorb the way of life for the community. So this is kava, and this root is part of a traditional drink that we will see shortly, but I mean, it's so amazing to think that this starts as a root and it's one of the traditional Fijian drinks. Back at the resort, we hand off our groceries to our host as they teach us the traditional way of cooking. It was a little awkward, but I help out where I can. Da kana! Our journey leads us to another river on the island, the Sigatoka River. Within these lush and dense jungles are villages, dozens of them, mostly uninfluenced by the modern world. The river is the major means of transportation for this part of the island's interior. Most convenient by boat, but you can see most of the residents here don't have their own boat. We've been invited to visit one of the villages, but before our stop, a little adventure. The tour company has partnered with about 17 of these remote villages as a way of adding to their economy while offering the public an ethical and sustainable way of learning about the culture here. That's why my crew and I had to make this visit within a group rather than arranging it privately. The first lesson was that all the women had to wear sarongs, so I put it on. Then off we are, down the village's only road. We were led into a building like the town's community center of sorts, and were greeted by all of these gorgeous faces. A warm welcome indeed. I knew I stood out to them. I could see it in their eyes, a bit of a acknowledgement, camaraderie. I was brown like them, my hair coiled like theirs, and look at the tour group. Mostly not brown. We are seated, and the first order of business is that the eldest male from the visiting group presents the chief with a gift of kava. Remember kava? So this is kava. Kava is a traditional drink made of a root. It's also considered medicinal. It's non-alcoholic, but if too much is taken, you can get drunk. So after the gift, we join the villagers in a kava ceremony. Then a drink or two.
I'm officially welcome into the village.
They presented us with lunch. Then we danced it all off. And I tell you, dancing is the second quickest way to immerse in a culture. No words needed. It's all about movements that purge straight to the heart of culture and heritage. Now, the elephant in the room when talking about Fijian culture, the villages, the people, is cannibalism. In fact, Fiji used to be known as the Cannibal Isles. As an outsider, it seemed like a taboo topic, but quite frankly, it wasn't for anyone I asked here. Why? Because it's history, I guess. I mean, you can buy cannibal dolls at a souvenir shop, for goodness sake. According to the Fiji Museum, there is archaeological evidence to suggest that the practice of consuming human flesh dates back over 2,500 years. Cannibalism is, of course, illegal now, and the last known person on record, well, to be eaten, was in 1867. There are urban legends of modern stories of man fighting with another man from a tribe over a woman, but nothing documented. But why did Fijians do this practice? It's unclear why it started, but according to my research and the sources on the ground here say it continued for protection from other tribes and protection from foreigners. Some also say that Fijian chiefs ate the flesh of their enemies as a means of power, control, even revenge, and as the ultimate insult. Some believed that if you consumed your enemy, you would inherit their knowledge. Sure, the entire process was steeped in ritual, and it was a brutal practice, but let's be careful in our approach in retelling history. Let's not resort to colonialistic points of views, a way of distancing ourselves from the human connection. It's the othering that birth words like primitive and savages. Instead, look at these beautiful faces. The spirit here, the warmth. On another luxury experience, we took a private jet to a private island and stayed at the luxurious Yasawa Resort. Part of our stay landed on a Sunday, and we were invited to church in one of the villages. Oh, and I'd say the third quickest way to immerse in a culture is visiting the local church and going to a service. It was an event. It filled the space, and there was an overflow to the garden in front of it. The people dressed in their Sunday best. The children sang in the choir, the preachers preached, and afterwards the kids played in the sun. The women gathered to socialize. The men did the same. It was a special chance to watch people peopling on a Sunday afternoon.